getting the best deals on Amazon, Macy's, Zara, H&C, and over 100 other stores.
With critical focus on the Nigerian economy, we see the bigger picture.
It's making the economy work and grow even faster. Very reasonable price.
Business Express on Smooth.
Studio, mics are up.
In collaboration with QuickTeller.
And we're live, Lagos, to talk business this morning inside of Business Express and Business Express 981. That's the hashtag that you should use on Twitter when you're sending us messages. It'll be very interesting to see that we get about 150 messages this morning. We'll try to take them as a joke. But anyway, Smooth FM is 9 years old today, so as we are celebrating, we'll be giving you a chance to win passes to come celebrate with us this evening. But in the meantime, to have this conversation with myself and Titilayo. Good morning.
Good morning, Lagos.
Titilayo, welcome to Business Express this morning. Lagos, join us by sending messages to us through WhatsApp. Send it to 0809 444 0981. We're streaming live on YouTube, so you can see our faces there. And you can also leave a comment in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, it's time to do that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in the search box, Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Our first story, Titilayo, is about oil prices. They continue to make the headlines every time. We have to... There's this tweet by Finplan Kaluaja.
Okay.
He tweeted, he said, crude oil failing. Good or bad? Good. The first instance, subsidy cost reduces if looking at the bright side. Looking at the bad side, inflow to consolidated revenue fund drops. Now, his question is very pertinent. He said, how do we repay Eurobonds borrowed on assumption of high oil prices? Take us through the story, because if we're looking at it right now, we see that a decline by $10 per barrel in October, closed at $75 per barrel. Similarly, now the Bonny Light crude, which is one of the types of crude that Nigeria really prides itself with, has experienced a decline by 16.01% in October.
Yeah, so as rightly stated, we've seen a halt in the rally in the Brent crude oil price. I mean, about 2 weeks ago, we saw it hit about $87 per barrel. That's like the highest it hit since 2014. But I mean, we are seeing it slow down now. Currently, it's trading at about $65.30, and that's majorly due to the oversupply of oil. So I mean, as opposed to what we've seen earlier, we now see that supply is now going above demand, and so it's just normal for the prices to just go down due to the oversupply. So just in October also, the production of crude oil was also up about 127,000 million barrels per day. So I mean, all of these things are actually affected the price of Brent crude oil. To his question, I mean, the impact, of course, we know Nigeria is reliant on oil. I mean, about 80% of our exports,
which is quite alarming.
It's quite alarming. I mean, we've always been on talks of diversification and all of that. I mean, but we are still here. We are still largely dependent on crude oil. So of course, it's going to affect the revenues we've generated. Talking about the excess crude account, talking about our excess crude account is also going to negatively affect that. Although our budget for 2018 was capped at $51 per barrel, but it's currently trading at $65 per barrel.
So that's a plus.
It's still fair, but I mean, it's still negative. It's still going to affect the account negatively. I mean, based on the reduction in the oil prices. So it's ability of the government to spend. So government expenditure also might be cut slightly due to the reduction we've seen in Brent crude oil prices. But the OPEC will be meeting very soon. OPEC and other allied countries will be meeting soon to see how they could probably cut supply of oil just to keep the prices stable. So we are watching out for that.
But there's so many things to worry about here, Titi. I mean, looking at the statistics that was released, the foreign trade statistics that was released by the National Bureau of Statistics, showing that crude oil exports accounted for 80% of exports that you stated.
Yes.
That's against rather a 2% increase from 2015-2017, where we experienced 78% of export records. Now, if all revenue represents a significant portion of Nigeria's revenue, lower revenue means that the governments may not be able to undertake necessary capital expenditure.
Yes.
That's very important.
Yeah, of course.
And that, in essence, will hinder economic growth.
Yeah.
And by extension, might lead to devaluation of the currency. And we'll know that when that happens, CBN they'll be shaking their boots. I mean, trying to regulate the currency devaluation will be imminent.
Yeah, you're right. That's why, I mean, we are hoping OPEC would meet very soon and just, try to regulate. Probably cut the supply of oil, and then that would probably regulate the prices. We might see a bit of a surge in the crude oil prices, because what is currently affecting the prices, the oversupply. So I mean, U.S. production is increasing, so that whole supply of oil is
remember,
it's way above demand. So
the U.S. threatens sanctions against Iranian oil, but the other countries are subverting that by buying Iranian oil.
Exactly. So all of that is just playing out. And
wow, interesting. Lagos, remember your comments go to WhatsApp 0809-444-0981 and also to Twitter at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag BusinessExpress981. Titilayo for Afro Investors here joining us. Now let's look at the next thing. Actually, from oil prices, we move to Nigerians' unemployment data. Please shed some light for us on this article in Bloomberg that talks about government funding of the Bureau of Statistics and the impact on the increase of unemployment data. In that tweet, we see that the guy was going back and forth with people alleging that, he's not releasing figures, or he's what word would I use now? Like he's inflating figures because of elections and all that. And he said there's no money.
Okay, this is quite shocking news. I mean, so for the unemployment data, the last data we got was as at Q3 2017. That was that was September 2017, which stated that unemployment level was at 18.8%. So from then up until now, we've not seen anything. And so on Twitter, I mean, people were angry, and the statistician of the National Bureau of Statistics, he's very active on Twitter, stated that, I mean, they were not trying to, so people were insinuating that they were trying to cover up the unemployment data, for political reasons and all. But you came out to say, oh no, we haven't received funding from the government to release this data, and this is just really shocking. Sad, because it's very shocking, because this is just basic information that people need to make decisions, and all. We need to actually monitor the progress. So how many people have been employed so far? We've not gotten anything from Q4 2017 up until now. I mean, very shocking.
How will the
government... It's even a negative outlook in terms of attracting investors. Because, say, in the US, for instance, job data is released every first Friday of every month. Yes. So, I mean, it's just basic information. So, he coming out to say they haven't received funding to carry out the survey and to release the data is very shocking.
I like
and
his
alarming.
response, though, in a tweet. He said, you guys should, and I'm quoting Lagos, you guys need to stop this. He said this in response to the speculations that were fielding him from Twitter. He said, I know it's election time, but I've said this repeatedly. Nobody's calling me to manipulate any data and not release any data. Poor guy. So, more from Bloomberg, and this time it's about the ports. Now, the article title is Bribes, Beatings, and Gridlocks at the Ports Choke Nigeria's Economy. Titi, what are your thoughts on this? Because we have an account from one 34-year-old driver whose nickname, or namesake rather, Valentine. He says he's been queuing outside Lagos sites for 2 weeks. He had to deal with policemen, thugs, area boys. Yeah. Your thoughts?
I mean, again, we've been on this for a while. The port, it's been affected with several factors, so ranging from poor infrastructure to the gridlocks and all of that, and this is negatively impacting businesses. I mean, media houses interviewed some traders at the ports, and they actually just vented and their frustration was obvious, ranging from the fact that they had to be extorted. I mean, they had to pay the port officials, to the fact that they were gridlocked. I mean, all of this is affecting the business, even the ease of business. I mean, about 2 weeks ago, we saw the data, and Nigeria ranks about 146 out of 190 countries in the world. And in the World Bank survey that actually measures the time and expense involved with importing and exporting goods, Nigeria also ranks about 182nd of 190 countries. That just shows that, I mean, in terms of businesses, it's frustrating the efforts of these businesses. And I mean, the terminals has to be sorted, infrastructure. I mean, the roads are very bad. We've seen poor roads. Even the process is quite cumbersome. Customs, problem. Immigration, security agents. All of this is just affecting, even for Dank Sugar, for instance, looking at their half-year 2018 results, they stated their revenue fell by about 26%. And this was largely due to the fact that, aside the smuggling of sugar, into Nigeria. We also saw that the transportation, of sugar within the country, the transportation cost was actually very high. So I mean, business are being affected. So how do we actually attract investors into such an environment where currently it's just very sad? And
First of all, Lagosians are complaining about traffic and the gridlock around Apapa.
Very
That
bad.
is problem number one. Problem number two, to ease this. I mean, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, visited Apapa in May of 2017
yes.
and directed officials start working around the clock and agencies to locate the operations in one place to ease delays. It seems as if this is not being adhered to. The ports now are causing more problems.
More problems.
The security operatives that are meant to check, the proliferation of these area boys around those areas to make sure that they have ease of access. They are not even making it easier. They're not even making it better.
It should be treated with high priority, in my opinion, because even according to the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nigeria loses about $19 billion annually. I mean, to these gridlocks and to these challenges that we are facing. So I think it's very pertinent that something is done,
It is.
particularly the roads, the gridlock, and then the systems, because traders are complaining bitterly.
We are
about
all
this.
complaining bitterly, and we're hurting ourselves, Lagos, because if you're listening, you're one of the security operatives there, you're an area boy there, you're a port official. We are all contributing to the problem. Benga Kambu sent in a message here. It says on WhatsApp, are we not in a season when demand for oil is higher and sanctions on Iran should have sustained high prices? Benga Kambu, he continues to say, we merely mouth diversify, there is no real intent. All the distortion in the Nigerian state stem from concentration on oil, and that's true. And Dakbo here says, seems the priorities of the government is more apt on the election, so no funds for the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics. I shake my head in shame. And Yinka says, funding to release data. Were they using crack version of Microsoft Excel? Bros, Yemi Kali has the data, but when his chairman saw the figures, the only thing he saw, or they saw, was mutually assured destruction of the 2019 season. We have also asked Bros Yemi to ensure that those on the Iron Throne get data like number of agile Nigerians leaving for Canada and those paying serious money just to give birth in the US. Let them know, let them show how they are losing to the West. All right. Thank you very much. We'll go to the next story. We're talking MTN now. We're out of time, apparently. We're out of time. We can't take the story. But thank you very much, Titilayo from AfriInvest,
Thank you for having me.
for stepping in. And thank you, Raphael Adegoke. We just saw your message from Lekki. Lagos, the competition is still on. Remember, 7:30 will be time for Freshly Pressed, detailed analysis of our newspaper stories. But next, we'll have a special guest stepping into the studio to have a very spirit-filled conversation. Good morning.